Hello, Hollywood! Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Selena Gomez are bringing their sleuthing skills from New York to Hollywood in the new season of Only Murders in the Building, only on Disney+. It's comedy, it's crime, it's a criminally good time, with a whole lot of fabulous new guests and another one-of-a-kind mystery. Only Murders in the Building. New season now streaming exclusively on Disney+ from $4.99 a month. Tap the banner to learn more. Copyright 2024 Disney and its related entities. 18+, subscription required. Learn more at disneyplus.com.
Oh, yeah. Yes, the whole entrance, man. That's why. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's another fabulous week. And I hope you had a great week. Hope it was great. Hope there were good things happening. Hope you were positive. Hope things went well. And of course, I hope the weekend was fantastic. What'd you get up to? What'd you do? I mean, anything special? Anything out of the ordinary? Come on, share it with me. I had a fabulous time yesterday, and I'll tell you all about that. But first things first, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Sadiq, if it's your first time tuning in. And if you have been here, thank you so much for joining me. This is Just Chatting with Sadiq. And it's all about discussing, talking, interacting, having conversations and looking at different perspectives. It's not about pointing fingers. It's not about, right or wrong most of the time. It's mainly just about talking, hearing other sides to a story, hearing different perspectives, learning things from one another. That's what it's all about. And I thank you for joining me again. We have Rosemary in the building. She says, why is it dark? It's the whole entrance. You have to make it nice and cozy, In fact, I feel like doing it again. Okay, but I won't. Yeah. Cozy Live with Sadiq. Exactly. Because today we're chilling. We're chilling. I have to admit, I was really, really excited yesterday. Like I said, let me tell you about my weekend. And you could tell me about yours as well. I'm open. I was playing a game that was just, I think the beta has just been released. It's called Call of Duty Black Ops 6. And I played that. It was supposed to be for an hour, but I know I say these things and it never really turns out that way. But I said I was playing for like an hour 30 minutes and ended up playing for 4 hours. And then got caught up in a stream. Like I have an individual. He's a wonderful guy. His name is Becoming Unknown. He joined us. He was here last week, and he's a streamer as well. So yesterday, just as I was getting off, I didn't even know he was online. I just checked through and I saw him. He was streaming as well, and I just jumped in his stream, and I was there till like 4 a.m. I know, right? I know. But it was so cool. And oh yeah, sorry about that. It was really, really cool because I know he keeps saying, oh, when he starts off, that my stream looks so good, so professional. I'm like, really? But I watched his stream and in my mind, I'm like, wow, you see, that's how this life is. You look at yourself and you think, yeah, it's all right. And you look at someone else and you're like, wow, this is what I want. I mean, his stream, oh my days. Let me just paint the picture. Basically, he was outside at night. There was a live campfire. I kid you not, a live fire going on beside him on a lawn chair, playing music, lovely, mood lighting. My goodness. And it's amazing because I don't think he realizes what a great stream he has. But it was really good. It was just a nice conversation. It was, everyone bouncing off everyone. It was a nice community. And we spoke about some very interesting things, some of which I will share today as well. But yeah, it's Becoming Unknown. I did a shout out yesterday. It's in that video. I'll do it again today. You'll probably see it on Twitch. I don't think it'll come out here, but I'll try and see if it works. I'll try. But yeah, that's my weekend. So what did you guys get up to? I know one or two people here. Hey, Lord El Zeus, welcome. Thank you so much. Yes, for being here again. I truly appreciate. How you doing, my friend? What did you do this weekend? What did you get up to? Tell me, share. It's all right. Don't worry. No judgment. No judgment. Just share. Right. Yeah. Okay. So while I'm waiting to hear from you, and again, today, I think I have tested this. So today I will be interacting. I will be taking calls or messages. This can be done on WhatsApp if you have my number. Hint. And also this can be done on socials as well. I will try Facebook. I think there is a way, but Facebook, Instagram, there's a way we can do that as well to do phone calls. And that's just the easiest thing because the WhatsApp it's kind of weird, but yeah. I was meant to get like a specific number, but it didn't quite work out as I expected it to. So yeah. Anyways, let's start the discussion. Like I said, I want to do things, a little different today because we're going to be transitioning slowly, into a more structured kind of show. We will have these sessions more because I will be streaming a lot more, but we will have just different sorts of sections to say, okay, this is where we look at the news. This is where we look at possibly entertainment, weird talk, all that kind of stuff. We'll bring it together. So today I want to start with just things in the news, like stories, and feel free to share your stories as well. I remember just a few moments ago on Twitter, El Zeus is like, hey, I hope. Say what? Page has a problem? What the problem? Oh, it's back. Lord El Zeus saying, there's a particular story he hopes I talk about. And I was like, yeah, fine. Feel free. Bring the story. I will talk about it. I'm not going to go as in depth in the beginning as I usually do with stories. For one, I have to admit, I've had a really, really comfortable life staying outside the circles of Nigerian politics because I just feel when it comes to conversations, that's why I like this, because at least I know you, and you know me. So it's a lot easier. But I know as things get bigger, we will have people, those people, some people, let me not say those people, some people who sort of take these things and are not able to have constructive conversations or hear, other sides and just, gain perspective from other people. So yeah. I won't go as in depth, but I will tell you, how I feel. I mean, I don't have NBC on my ass. So, hey, I'll tell you as it is. I will be honest and as objective as I can be, as usual. Lord El Zeus, you're saying the weekend was a bit hectic. Oh, moved to a new apartment. Overwhelmed, but just going to set myself in a corner of the room and sleep. I know people have moved, but I have moved a lot in my life. And no matter where you're moving, it is always a hectic thing. It is always hectic. There is nothing easy about moving. And I have done a lot of moving in the past couple of years. Trust me. Yeah, big moves, small moves, moves in certain areas, moves away from areas. I have done plenty. So yeah, sorry about that, man. But yeah, the thing about it is when you move into an apartment, this is just my own take. There are two important rooms, the kitchen and the bedroom. Those are the first two things. And in fact, the kitchen is usually number one because you have to sustain yourself while you're trying to sort things out. So the kitchen is first and then the bedroom because you need to rest. And then every other thing you need to do. I mean, you're going to be in that apartment for a number of years, I believe. So don't think you need to do everything at once. Just take your time. Pick a specific room or area or a thing, and every weekend sort that out one at a time so you don't get burnt out. I know the whole thing is, I want to move in. I want everything to look perfect. I want it done in like 2 weeks, so I have to let it go. I mean, you could do that if you have the energy for that. But with the work life and weekends being as short as they are, just take it easy. Just relax, take one room at a time. That's my thing. That's my 2 cents. Okay. And speaking of 2 cents, let's go straight into newspaper. It's been a long time since I've opened a Nigerian newspaper, and I have to admit, I think I still have PTSD. Jesus, man. And it just feels like 4 years on, nothing has actually changed. Let me open up a particular page. I have some interesting things to talk about. I heard a lady as well She was talking about, and I know this is a touchy subject, but I just want us to not get upset, please, but just listen to what she has to say. It's just an interesting take. I'm not going to say, oh, she's right, she's wrong, she's this. As far as I'm concerned, it is her opinion, and it's just an interesting way to look at things. But it's one of the things we'll talk about towards the end, so in case it gets a bit hot, I can run away. Hey, Olatunji, how far? How you doing? Thank you so much for joining in again. I really appreciate, man. Much love. Right, so you're just in time because I want to open up the first newspaper article that I saw that caught my eye. Let's see if we can. Oh, yes, there you are. These beautiful gentlemen up here. Look at him. Shining examples of Nigerians. Right. Rosemary, hectic weekend for me too. Had to nap about 4 a.m. because I was struggling. Only woke up in time to eat and catch the stream. Yeah, I slept by 5. Yeah, so I get that. But you still have a deficit of sleep to catch up on. Sleep is an amazing thing, man, though. I have to admit. Like when I was still working at Lagos Talks, I pretty much used to get 4 hours every day of the week. And the weekend, it's like the sleep will come and tell me, sir, you are missing 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, and I would like to collect. And there's pretty much nothing you can do about it. But it seems like after a while it stacks up. But yeah, see, it's time to relax, time to chill. Let me puss up. Wait, where did it go? I had music somewhere before. What was happening to this thing? I don't know why this happens.
Games.
Oh my goodness. See? It's the evil spirits. I was literally... Yeah, anyways. Right, I was talking about these two amazing gentlemen. These... Man, you owe the sleep bank a serious amount, and it will come and collect one day. And let's just hope that day you're ready for it. But right, these beautiful gentlemen. The gentleman on the right is, or should I say the left, is the Senate President, sorry, I should say, Godswill Akpabio. And yeah, that's Mr. Tajin Abbas, I believe. But the story is 21 million jumbo pay syrup sues Akpabio Abbas for fixing National Assembly's running cost. Now, the first thing I would like to say about this story is that it is September 1st, 2024, but it is the same story I have dealt with for over 10 years. I have had stories like this come up again and again and again, and it just seems like these things will never end. Like I said, it's like a continuous Rolodex of the same issue over and over again. And clearly because I think this is just interesting stuff for news pundits, newspapers. They just enjoy going over things like this. But at what point do we as people start to look at these kind of stories and say, okay, you know what? And let me guess, the next thing is, oh, but what can we do? There's a lot you can do. See, this thing about jumbo pay, it is such a it's such a topic in the fact that I don't look at it as just, okay, these guys are milking and taking their own little part of Nigeria, and to me it's a larger problem with the society of Nigeria and what we look at as important, what we see. Because I feel like in certain parts of the world, I think it was Sweden I read about, where their National Assembly, the people in the assembly, the men and women who are serving their country, they live in tiny apartments. They barely get enough money. They all have to take public transport. And you know that these people are doing it not because of the benefit to them, but because of what they can give to their country. Because if you're not, it's like doctors in Nigeria. It's amazing because that's what's happening to doctors. But if you look at doctors, well, not everywhere. Let's just say in America, because in the UK, it's better than Nigeria, but it's not particularly amazing. You start to see patterns. The jobs that we sort of regard and look up to, and these people get a lot of pay. It tells us something about us as people. And I know these guys, the only reason this is continuing is because us as a people have allowed them to continue. the National Assembly is made up of people who, yeah, that's why I said that I can't mention the UK in this. They left the chats because I know I had a friend long ago moved to the UK, a doctor. She moved to Australia, and apparently a lot of doctors in the UK that are citizens are moving elsewhere. So that's why there's a deficit, apart from, you know, the Brexit and the EU thing as well. Teachers as well is a problem in the UK too. Teachers are not having it. Better than the teachers in Nigeria, but based on the standard here, it is just as bad. So we're seeing that pattern. It's a thing about society. You know, what is important? You can tell from the people who are making the most money. These guys in the National Assembly, what are they meant to be doing? They're really there to be making the lives of Nigerians better and easier in the most simple form possible. There is nothing else you can tell me. Let's not overcomplicate it. They're there to just worry egg. Yeah, sorry about that. They're there to just make life easier, either by looking at laws, ways to alter these laws or put in new laws to make things run smoother, to make things easier, to defend the rights of the country, the people of Nigeria, to also have oversight functions to other government parastatals or agencies to make sure they're doing their parts to make life easier for people in their constituency. That's all they're there for. It's a big task. It's something that, you know, it has prestige, but it shouldn't carry a package. And I have met a couple of senators, and for a long time, I mean, it wasn't something I could mention on air. I had known about the fact that there was a discrepancy when they say, oh, this is my salary, and what exactly they get as take home. Because I once saw a list of things that they get allowances for. You've all heard about hardship allowance. What manner of hardship is a Nigerian senator going through? So with regards to this particular story, Serap sues everyone. If you cough the wrong way in your government, they'll sue you. I don't know how much impact they have. I don't know how much money and who's sponsoring this, because they've been doing this for many years and it just seems like they're another headline in the newspaper. I don't know if they've had any landmark decisions that have actually caused change, but the fact that they're making it, you know, making it a story, I guess we need to appreciate in their own little way. This same story is going to continue, and I can bet that next year, the year after that, the next regime, this is going to be the same. Regardless of which political party is in charge or in power, we're still going to hear these stories. I'm also interested in the people who were in a particular party, not to like say, oh, so what are you doing? But to just, you know, find out, have they done anything different? Have they come out to say, look, this pay that we're getting, this is how much we're getting? Is there some kind of secret code that when you're a political party that promises to be different, you get into the house, they tell you, hey, now that you're here, you can't say diddly squat? Because I need to know. Because it doesn't make sense. We had people in the Labour Party that everyone had so much high expectations of. And there was, expectation that when they do get into situations like the House, the House of Assembly and all that, you know, they would be different from those who were there. Have you noticed anything different? I think I did hear one person come out to speak about this still, but I don't think it was that in depth. If you have heard, please share with me. I'd love to know. What they done different? Did they not accept the cars? Because I know the jumbo cars thing came up as well, and we all made noise about it and moved on, which is what's going to happen to this story. In a week, we're going to forget about this, or we've heard this so many times, we're not really going to care. It's not going to make a difference. But if we do want to make that difference, there are ways to do it. And I would admit it is difficult, but it is not impossible. But being distracted by things, being sidelined and always having a different story to run to is not going to make this problem go away. What can we do? There's something I used to talk about on radio called recall. Every senator, where they come from, there is a process of recall, and they've made it so that that process is so difficult, so cumbersome, that it's almost impossible. But the trick is not about it being or happening. Like I said about protesting, it's about gaining momentum, gaining gravity, letting people understand that you have power. If you are able, and this is not going to be possible in, places outside the city, because we know how it is there. People are more about their pockets than about anything else. But this is where we as Nigerians come in, and all the money that we're putting into shows and entertainment and things like that. We need to start thinking about, doing something different. Maybe channeling all those funds that we use to go out and party, to go and speak to people in these places, to say, look, this is what this guy here is meant to be doing. This guy. This is what he's meant to be doing. This is his task. He's actually meant to do A, B, C, D for you. And this is what we're going to do to make sure. Now, if you start a process of recall, I can't remember it completely. It's like 7 steps. First, everyone who voted has to write a letter, and then they have to do like a recall or a recount, and everyone has to vote again. And then it's like a long, convoluted process. But in starting the process, you are going to do something. It's that you're going to send a message to say, look, 1, the fact that the recall is happening means the number of people who voted for that person, a percentage of them, a large percentage of them are unhappy. That's going to count to whoever is there coming in the next elections. He might put more pressure, he might go and spend more money, but you've made that impact. And if more people are doing it to their, House of Rep members, then, hey, I've said this before, and that's why it's just painful, because I'm like, it just seems like we enjoy making stories about these sorts of things, and then we just let it go in a few days and a few weeks. So we will see the story again. It's not going anywhere. These guys are going to continue, and they are raking in so much money. You have no idea. There is entertainment allowance, basically. So there's a newspaper allowance. So when a senator has a visitor, they get money. They get money to pay the staff that they hire. So if I want 30, housemaids and all, I get an allowance for that. I get an allowance for fuel. These are done so that, 1, it is different and separate from what they call a salary. So that when they say, what's my salary? I'm like, hey, this is my salary. This is what I earn. But there's triple the amount. It's crazy. It's crazy. And we've heard about these amounts. Shehu Sani, in fact, I'm sure if I check it, Shehu Sani mentioned an amount that they get. I think he said like 13 million at that time, monthly. Think about what you would do with 13 million naira every month, minus your main salary. This is in allowances. How would you spend it? Ooh, tat it up. What's going on, man? Thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate it. I'm sadly not gaming today. I'm just doing like a sort of like a just chatting review thing. But thank you for tuning in. Really do appreciate. Lord Ozu says nothing. That day is the day we start getting the right people in power. True. Says our politics needs to be unattractive. Says the newspaper allowance is the most hilarious amongst the list. Oh, you have no idea. The newspaper allowance, it's the most hilarious to me is the newspaper allowance. It's the what I just mentioned it. It's hardship allowance. They have a hardship allowance. Can you imagine that? As in, like, you are a senator with cars, you have police officers, you get everything that you need, and then you're facing hardship. What kind of hardship is that? So that's what I'm like, man. I thought when Nigerians found out how much these guys were taking home every month, and this is money that comes from the taxes, this is money that comes from the coffers of the states, we would be angry enough to make that a focus. But no. Oh, Tatted Up's about to play. Hey, you're going back to Black Myth Wukong. Don't worry, right after the stream I'm going to be with you and I'm going to be watching. I need to learn how to beat these bosses because that game is actually crazy. It's driving me mad. Right, let's just hope I haven't missed anyone. Lord Ozu says, I've said this everywhere. If I get the chance, the political class, including those appointed, have to be drafted under the minimum wage bill. No extras, no jumbo, no pension. That would be great. That would actually be amazing. Think about it. If this guy, look at this guy, Fabio. If he had to earn, how much is the minimum wage now? It's 100, is it 100K or 70K? I get confused. If he had to earn the minimum wage with no extra, do you think half of the people who are in the house will be there? But the problem is, who is going to get into that house and make that happen? They're the ones that actually would have to pass this law. There's a RAMFAC, it's a revenue allocation body that claim that, you know, but what power do they have? So it seems like it's going to go on for a while, as long as we allow it. And that's a lot of the stories that I see today. That's basically the thing. It's because we are allowing it. We're letting it go on. We're giving excuses. We're saying, oh, we don't have the capacity. We don't have the power. You know, I'm too busy. You're too busy? Wow. These guys are basically milking. Not just the country is you. So when people say these guys are doing A, B, and C, they're really doing it to you. That's what you need to understand. And let me just give you an analogy, just to put this into perspective, yeah? Imagine someone owed you 21 million naira. And you are going through what you're going through today, you know, with the increase in bills, a high cost of living, increase in fuel, and this person is owing you money. Tell me, honestly, what would you do? Would you just be like, you know, I'm tired. I don't feel like, you know, I'm just going to chill. I'll hope that it gets sorted one day. Would you actually do that? Or would you be pissed? Would you call that guy every day? Would you, you know, go over to his house? Would you call his colleagues? Would you get the, you know, the law involved? If someone owed me that amount of money, heck, I will go to his church. I will get up on Sunday and be like, oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, I have a testimony. You see, that man right there owes me 21 million. I will show up at his friends' birthdays. I will be a part of his life. He'll wake up in the morning, and if the cock crows, I will be doing backup dances for that thing, man. Where my money? Where my money? So I will not let it go. Oh, yeah, sorry. It's back. My apologies. I apologize, yeah. Oh, yeah, so let me do that again. Oh, yeah, so basically, we're allowing this behavior to continue. I hope that's where I sort of went off. We're allowing it to continue. We are sort of edging them on because they do these sorts of things. And then when they go out into society, they hear people saying, oh, you know, we love this person, we love that person. And it's the same with other stories we're going to deal with. But like I was saying, with my kid and with every other kind of relationship we have, people test. And if you do nothing about it, then that's going to continue. Be it in the workplace, be it in your home. And just like I was saying with my kid, you know, just as she's about to do something horrible, she's like,
I'm gonna do it. And she gives you the look like, Daddy.
I'm telling you. And if you allow that behavior to continue, oh my days, you're going to have issues forever. She'll never stop. It's even, there's a quote, and I'll remember it when I talk about the next story. But yeah. Jumbo Pay, Jumbo pay is as a result of us doing nothing. These guys are milking us. And as long as we don't see it as a priority, that the men who protect us, the doctors who care for us, the teachers who nurture us are not more important than these guys, then we are going to be in this situation. We as a society are also to blame. If there was a show called, anything that had to do with, academics and all, we just like, yeah. If it's people shaking booty in a house, kissing or doing that, we're like, yay. It's priority. It's actually priority. And when we get our priorities straight, then we'll realize that these sort of stories are very important, because we don't understand how, and I get it, we don't understand how this impacts us every day. And I guess that's why I wish the media were more proactive, in the sense that they would take stories, simplify them, and then show how these stories are affecting you directly. This 12 million jumbo pay is affecting us directly. The general cost of governance is affecting us directly. There is so much money leaking in that aspect. It's horrible. Raouf, how you doing, man? Thank you so much for joining. How's my social experiment? I tried. I literally put up a post saying I love every tribe. I love everybody. And thankfully, surprisingly, didn't get anyone say, what do you think you are? Or no, these people are this or that. So basically, what we talked about is true. We just need more opposition. We need more people saying the opposite of what we're hearing. Being quiet is being complicit. So that should tell you that from this week going on, do as much as you can to express yourself if you don't agree with these things that are happening. And there's a story as well that's trending during the week. We'll talk about that too. But you know what? Enough of these guys. I'm done with them. Look at his face. Look at this guy. Number one bullshit guy. Yeah. So it's sad that it's continuing, but let's just move on, because I mean, it just seems like it's a never ending story. It goes on and on. Now, a lighter story. Hey, I hear you, man. Thank you. It's reminding me to do one or two things. Another story, which I saw and I thought was really nice. Lighter story. It doesn't have to be negative and horrible all the time. I know, algorithms don't like that. They like that kind of thing. But Rema, who I know is a new artist, we thank God, because I've looked at Nigerian artists recently, and even artists around the world, and I'm slowly realizing that age is catching up. 27 is not easy. I don't recognize anyone. They're like, this guy is little guinea fowl, or this is that. I'm like, who? What? When? What they do? Why are they so famous? I've reached that time. But I know Rema. Rema's pretty good. He has some really cool songs. And according to the story, he donated 105 million to a church that opened a shop for his mom. Now, looking at the other story we just saw, 21 million naira per month, and that's an estimate. We don't know what else they're getting. That's why I'm like, those stories impact us. Now imagine a Rema, a senator, and everyone who's made that kind of money, picking a place, a school that they went to, a hospital that did something, and doing this sort of thing. And I'm not just saying in Nigeria, I'm just saying worldwide. People do it, they do it for tax breaks. But I'm saying genuinely doing it because this guy, I don't know. Some people say he's now a devil worshiper. Please tell me about it. I don't know. They were complaining about his concerts. Why is everything red? Why does he have horns? But he's donating to a church. I don't know if this is like a PR thing. But if everyone did that, what would you think would happen? Good thing, bad thing? I heard a story, and I've used this story as an example a lot. It was, I can't remember what Olympics it was, but it was a Chinese athlete. She won a gold. It was a diver, and she had a contract with Pepsi. Now, I think she got whether it was 20 or 18 million dollars as a result of her collaboration or sponsorship by Pepsi. Now, the government of China, being the Chinese Communist Party, they decided that they will take the money, and they took half of the money, gave her one half, and the other half split it between every institution that she passed through to get to where she was. So the province or the primary school she went to, the hospital that where she was born, the secondary school, the university, all got a cut of that money. And apparently that's how it happens. I just thought, wow, that's an interesting system. That's very interesting. So imagine a Burna Boy, a Davido, Wizkid, Rema, these politicians, the senators, the House of Reps. Imagine if they did that to all the institutions, or they had to, by law, had to do it through all the institutions that they passed through. Because this is not just going to help the institution. It means all the children in that hospital will benefit. All the kids who are currently going to that school will also benefit. Isn't that just amazing? And I know everyone's like, communism is the devil, it's the devil. But I mean, think about it. Maybe that's why China is where they are today. This message was not sponsored by the CCP. Now, seriously, it's interesting. So I like seeing stuff like this because, especially for a young artist, he's setting an example. Other people might copy him for the wrong reasons, but yeah, let them copy, because this is what we actually need. It's not always about governments. And this is something I started pushing a long time ago. Well, even when I was on radio, and I got so much abuse for it. But I'm happy that online now, it seems like when I say things, it takes 4 or 5 years and then people start echoing it. I'm happy online now, people are now understanding that to make a great country is more than just leadership. A country works, it's like different parts. It's like an engine of a car. There's a steering wheel. There's also a gear. There's an accelerator. You cannot just drive a car with the steering wheel alone. It will not move. You need an engine. You need the steering wheel. You need your rear view mirrors. You need a gear. A country is an entity like a car. You do not leave the success or the failure of that country to one entity alone. It just doesn't work. So hopefully more and more we realize that us as citizens have a major part to play in how we feel every day in the country. Yes, senators have to make laws and do this, that affect the generality. But in your own little part of the country and world, you are also affecting people. That person that takes one way and then causes traffic, and then the guys who follow behind, they're all affecting those people around and making Nigeria a lot more difficult than it can be. Think about it. If all the people in Nigeria were so good, I mean, we all point fingers, it's the government. If we were all so good and we did the right thing every day, regardless of what the governments or governors or House of Rep members did in Abuja, it wouldn't affect you directly, would it? It is the everyday things that affect us. I one day cataloged all the scams that I went through every single day. Like, I wanted to get my horn fixed, and I just figured that this guy is going to scam me. So you know what I did? I actually went online, did my own research, learned about how it worked, realized what the problem was myself, and then that's for the exact model of my car, and then drove to this place. And this guy said, no, let me sort it out. You know, opened the bonnet, said, I'll remove the battery. I was like, what? The car model that I have, removing the battery doesn't really make a difference. So I was like, look, if you don't know that, then you don't know what you're doing. This guy just came and next thing he said, it costs 20,000. I'm like, wow, 20,000. I then explained to him, I said, okay, let me be honest with you. I know exactly what's wrong with this. This is not my first time. I know it is this. This is a fuse. This fuse costs less than $50. I know this is what the problem is. I just wanted to see if you'd be honest with me. And the first thing he said, it's the government's fault. Because the government is stealing, that's why I'm stealing. I told him I was an idiot and I left. But that's what I experienced every day. So if that guy was an okay, upstanding person and the next guy was an okay, upstanding person, life would be better for us all. And that's the way it is in some parts of the world. It's not great. It's not everyone is good, but at least a regular, average, everyday person understands what everyone else is going through and don't try to make it worse for you. Unfortunately, some still believe that for Nigeria as a country to be better, only the leaders must change. That's just something that has been put in our heads to keep us in check. That's the way I feel. I feel like that statement is kind of like, you know how you blame someone? Blame basically is stopping yourself from growing. Check this. If I play a game Like I'm playing Call of Duty. This is actually real life. I play Call of Duty, I die 10 times, and if I blame server, if I blame control pad, if I blame Activision, if I blame my TV, what's going to happen next? I'm going to be focused on those things. Meanwhile, if I change all those things, I might still be the bad player. Why? Because I didn't look to myself and say, okay, maybe it's not this thing, maybe it's me. We don't have the amount of power. There's some things we just can't really change as in an instant. It takes time and it takes groundswell. But there are things we can change with us. Now, the reason why that statement is important is because if we believe that we have to change, then it means we have power. And believing you have power is a step in actually causing change. It's part of what I talked about during protests, and it's actually a very important thing, believing. If you don't believe you can do anything, you're just going to sit down and complain. But if you know that you can or believe that you can, then you might start to take steps. You say, okay, you know what? This game is difficult. Maybe I need to learn how to aim better. Maybe I need to learn positioning. Maybe it's something to do with my settings. You see, all those things have to do with things you personally change. So the more we say it's the government, the more we take away power from ourselves to actually make any kind of change at all. The government has absolutely a role to play. Of course they do. They can make it easier in the fact that they have the resources and are able to channel those resources to people. But when the government you are talking about in question is not going to benefit from that change, then how is this going to happen? Two, when the people themselves don't even know what to pick or who to pick as a leader. We don't. Right after the NSARS movement, I honestly thought that was our groundswell. That was when we were being enlightened because of the things and the hardships I had cleared. Said, look, it's time. But clearly, we weren't ready. That was the moment I thought we were going to start looking at people, because the first thing I heard was, and if you remember, no more old guard, no more old school politicians. We need someone who's young. Elections came, what happened? We had three candidates who have been in office for more than 8 years, who have been part and parcel of this country from the beginning of its decline till now. They've all been there. And these were the three people we wanted to choose from. The guys who had the ability and the place and the presence of mind, because for you to want to bring change to this country, you need to be out of what is going on in the country. Nobody who is in government or has been in government for the past 20, 30 or 40 years is capable of understanding what the common everyday Nigerian is going to. And I'll give you an example why. There's a company, is it not Pfizer? No, it's a fast moving goods company. I forget their name. But it's part of the company policy that their CEOs have to spend, I think, a week in the house of a low income earner. The reason they do this is because as a CEO, you are not using the same products that you are selling to people. So you need to be where the people are in order to understand how best to serve them. That's why big companies do surveys. That's why they speak to people. That's why they have focus groups, because you need to understand how do the people who are in power now, like an Akpabio, like Bola Tinubu, how do they understand your gripes if they have never or haven't been in those situations for many, many years? If I want to pick a leader for Nigeria, it'll be someone who, one, obviously hasn't been in government. Two, has experienced every hardship that I've experienced and is currently going through those hardships. That's the kind of person I'm going to pick. Three, I'll pick a person who has either run a company, a business, or an organization Not because, oh, someone who hasn't can't do it, but so that I can see a track record to see how did he treat his staff. You know, what is his business acumen? What is organizational theory? How does he run his business? What does his staff think about him? How does he handle situations? Those are the things we're looking for. It's like a relationship. Nigerians right now, when you're picking your president, understand that it's like picking a girlfriend, a wife, a husband. There's certain things you need to look out for. And right now we're looking at the things that a young person will look for. And that's because we're a young nation. Over 70 or 69% of us are below the age of 30. That is young. We're the youngest nation in Africa. And these guys are taking advantage of it. We are. So we're looking for someone who, oh, you know, he must be popular. You know, he must be able to talk. He must, you know, all these kind of things. He's been in office before, so he'll know how to handle them. What? When I hear that, I laugh, man. I'm like, he's been in office before. And he'll know how to handle them. Right. And then and I know this is going to make people angry, but you say someone is new, but the person has been a governor for a while. You say someone is new, but he's been, since the time of military rule, been part and parcel. But to be honest, when it came to that rock and a hard place, I would admit I would have preferred a different candidate. Not because generally he had thought he was going to do better. No, I didn't think he had any special skill or ability. The reason why I wanted this individual, based on the choices that we had, was because him getting into office was going to do more for the psyche of Nigerian people than anyone else. If he had gotten into power, people would have started to believe that what they wanted actually mattered. He might not have done diddly squat. He might have. But it wasn't about him. It was about what it will have done for us. Now, the person who's there now, trust me. And the funny thing is, I said this before. My mom, she was cracking up because I told her, I said, look, this person will win. He'll get into office. He will do things people will forget. Nigeria will get better. But you see, the things that are important to us as a country are going to be in his hands. And it's only a matter of time. It's like chemotherapy. You will get better, but you're going to lose your hair. Basically. So I don't think we understand. And I just realized, you know, years ago that even with conversations that started happening with people, it's because we are a young nation. We don't understand politics. We speak from places of emotion. We don't have deeper understanding of these matters. And hopefully as the nation grows older, as this young population starts to age, we'll start to understand more. But right now, we have nobody. I mean, the people who should be in the running are not in the running, and we are not speaking about it. NSARS was the closest we've ever been to picking someone that made sense because we said certain things. No old person, because we're young. The guy who is up there who's 80 lived a different life from us. There's no way he understands what we're going through or what we need. And I don't see the effort being made. And don't get me wrong. You can, as an old person or an older individual, understand the younger generation, but it takes you doing research. Like I studied audience engagement. You have to understand the people that you are serving. It's not just about who they are, their psyche, how they breathe. You have to understand them. That's what all these social media platforms are doing. They're collecting all your data points to understand the kind of person you are, when you'll be most susceptible to adverts, what kind of things you talk about in your house. All that information is needed. And as someone who is in power, that is what you need to do. And it's not happening. Meanwhile, what's happening is that we're just fighting each other. Oh, we're in the camp of this person. Oh, we're in the camp of that person. Divide and conquer. I said something on social media, I think it was a week ago or two, that basically about us being united, and the people who are causing our problems are united in their goal. So until we are united in a goal, we will continue to just suffer under them. Trust me, these guys, there's no political party difference. They are all on the same page, and that's why they are winning, because their page is to continue to perpetuate themselves, is to continue to be there in power is to continue to cause this confusion. The newspapers that you're using to gather your information, go and find out about the people who own these things behind the scenes. The radio stations. Think about it. Honestly. It's to say, oh yeah, Lord El Zeus, exactly. I mean, you'll be able to pay for stuff. It'll be convenient. You know, certain things will work well. You'll be like, oh wow, trains. Ooh, yeah. But behind the scenes, everyone or every utility that matters would be in control or be controlled by someone who is close to that person, related to or in the same sort of circle. It would in one sense help a lot of people, but in another sense it would stop. It'll leave some things in some people's hands. That's the template, and trust me, behind that's what's going to happen. I don't think I'm wrong about this. I really don't. But yeah, hopefully we see more stories like this, people realizing and understanding that it's more about the things that we do to ourselves every day. Those things are by far more important than any government policy, because when you leave your house in the morning, you're not in traffic with government policy. You are not with government policy at the fuel station. You are with other Nigerians. And if other Nigerians start treating other Nigerians with more respect, understanding that we're all going through the same thing, regardless of what tribe or what skin tone or what language, then maybe things will start to get better. Maybe, but I know we're a long way away. But we're young, we're emotional. We need time to grow. We need time to experience, and hopefully we'll get there. But for now, that's all I'm going to say. Yes, this was the story. And please feel free to share any story, anything you'd like to talk about, or a news element or a trending story that happened during the week you want to speak about. Please share with me. You know, let's talk about it. Yeah. And I am going to call someone. So yeah. This story was actually brought forth by Lord El Zeus. Thank you so much for sharing. I had seen this story earlier, and I just went over it because the headline at that time said something about, oh, governor asked someone to hug transformer. I thought it was just so funny. I was like, wow. So it has gotten there. But basically, he went a little bit further. He did say that, apparently. But Wike threatens PDP governor supporting Fubara, vows to instigate crises in states. Now, the backdrop of this story is when he had served his tenure in his state and he was leaving. And what usually happens is governors sort of handpick a person to step into their shoes when they're leaving for reasons. One, to keep hold of power in the state. Two, so that whoever's in there will be so grateful they're not going to come after you based on all the things and the dirty laundry you left behind. So that's a lot of reasons why a lot of governors want to put people in place. It's not because, oh, this person is going to do what I'm doing, carry on with mine. Nah, it's going to make sure this person pays fealty to me. And sometimes these people turn around and say no, because, you know, it happened in Lagos State. It happens where the person said, nah, I'm going to do things my way. Now that I have this power, I'm going to consolidate and I'm going to make sure that I stay here. It didn't work out. Spent one term and they got kicked out. So with Wike, it seems like that's what's happening in his states. The person who he sort of put forward to be in that position isn't playing ball the way he wants. And now he's showing himself. But what is funny is this guy, I don't think there's anything sensational about this. Why? Because this man has been making similar statements and threats since the day he entered power or had been a governor or even whether it was local government chairman. This is who he is. And Nigerians, his state people who loved his political party or supported him because of that, cheered him on when he made these kind of statements. I believe he's still a member of the PDP and he's speaking to PDP governors. The problem is, this is why I say a big chunk of the problem is with Nigerians. You see, when someone like Wike makes these kind of statements or does certain things, because I know he used to be very vociferous and saying, oh, you know, this traditional ruler, look at your head. Look at your head. Why would you go and do this? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. And we all, hey, so funny. we are basically praising and we are buttressing, we're helping him in his path. Remember what I said earlier? That basically people will continue doing things if we praise them, if we continue to allow it to happen. Sorry, excuse me, I think I need water. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So to him, we have reinforced that behavior. He has said things to people. He's been mean. He's acted funny. I mean, right when he was leaving power, he was doing all the dances. He had a band and it was fanfare. So we are the ones who have made and created this individual. So there are no points can you turn around and start pointing fingers because we have allowed this person to be this person. If we didn't like it, and that's another point, that's what I was trying to say before the break, is just because, and this is something we do a lot in the country, because we like somebody or he's against someone that we don't like, we sort of brush over everything that they do that's negative and allow it. It happens with both sides. Because Buhari is your pick, it means whatever he does is good. Because Jonathan is your pick, whatever he does is okay, just because of that. And to point a finger means, oh, no, it means you're against. Oh, no, why would you? You know, sort of thing. Like I said, it is just youthful behavior. The older you get, the more you realize that things aren't actually that way. So what's scary about this story is, does he actually have the power to do this? Apart from the fact that, yes, we've allowed this continue. But for him to make a threat like this out in the open, this man must know something or must believe something, because this is not something normal. And it just seems like it's an escalation. For you to openly be able to say this as a serving minister, okay, I'm going to instigate crisis in your states. Instigating crisis doesn't mean you won't have paper or he will take all the pencils in your ministry. It basically means that there's going to be problems for the people in that state. So is it possible he can do this? And if he's threatening this, is this the kind of person? Is this the kind of temperament? Is this the kind of state of mind of an individual that you want? And in this situation, I have to be on the side of it's a leadership thing, because he wasn't voted into the position that he is in now. He's a minister. He was put there by someone who people entrusted. He's a servant. I'd like to see and keep an eye on this story though, but please tell me. I'd love to know what you think about this. Do you agree with the fact that we have actually empowered this individual, and that with every retweet and every laugh emoji, with every applause or clap of the hand, we've actually empowered this person to be this kind of guy, because we said, yes, there's nobody like this. He talks truth to power when he's on your side of the political divide. I'd love to know. I really love to know, because honestly, it's scary. It's actually scary, but it's the same thing. This will happen. We'll laugh about it. We'll make memes. And then a week from now, all gone. Yep, Lord Ozu says, this is the obvious truth we've all been denying. Every criminal on the street was at a point on the books of these politicians, the bandits, the kidnappers, the cultists. Oh my goodness, you have no idea. See the things happening with the bandits. I had a guy who came on the station and he broke it down off air. He literally told me exactly. I think he mentioned a bit on air, but he mentioned what was going on. There is a huge and ginormous theft of wealth happening up north with regards minerals, gold. And what he told me was that there are people who were hired to protect their interests. And these people are the bandits, that the people we are calling bandits today. They were armed by these individuals to protect their interests. So he also mentioned what was going on. I think it was during the time of the Fulani herdsman. That's why I was laughing, and I kept telling people on air, it has nothing. This is not what you think it is. what is happening is that people are pretending that this is what it is in order to chase people away from their villages. Because that's what they do. They'll come into a town, shoot everybody, kill people. The villagers will run away. No one wants to come back. And at that time, what happens? They start mining. They start mining and they get all the gold, all the resources. Nobody checks on them, everything. It's all money. It's all money at the end of the day. And again, that one is difficult because, wow, I don't know what people can do in that situation because we're talking, these guys have so much money, the resources, the ammunition. There's a guy who was talking conspiracies, talking about radars in the country and how radar in some parts of the country isn't able to detect certain things for certain reasons. In fact, I don't even think I can mention this because we were told it was off the books. I was in a strong room meeting. Wow, my life. Yeah, a strong room meeting at an embassy where they were talking about what was really going on in the north. I saw a couple of people there. I know Rufai was there. A lot of people in different newspaper outfits, TV, were all there. And they said a lot about what was going on there. And it was obviously no one can repeat anything because it was off the record. We weren't even allowed to go in there with pens. No phones, no pens, nothing. Everything was taken from us. So it's basically money. Every problem that you will see in Nigeria that comes out of, oh, it's herdsmen, oh, it's bandits, oh, it's this. It's at the end of the day a business venture. It is money. Some people are making money. Some people want to make money. Some people are upset. They cover it as something else. They fight each other behind the scenes. They get people to fight each other so that we're at loggerheads when it comes to religion, when it comes to ethnicity, but they're united when it comes to making that cheddar. So yeah, let's hope it does not continue. But God day. Let's move on. Next one. Oh yeah, this was a very interesting story. It kind of tails off of what we're talking about last week with tribalism. And I heard the audio of this lady. You know, it's called herself a Canadian baby, who says, basically, if you don't know the story, there's a woman. I think it was it was one of these. I don't know if it was on Twitter, like a space. And basically a group of people from a particular ethnicity was speaking about, and she came out to say, look, I want to buy all the people from, you know, the West and Benin people. I'm going to poison them. I'm going to make sure that I poison them. We have to start killing them. You know, those are very strong statements to make. And I wanted to just go down the rabbit hole as to the law in Canada, if you are allowed to say such things. You know, the line between free speech and not free speech. And, you know, it just took me on this big rabbit hole. And I was like, you know what? No. Don't go deep. Don't start. First things first. I don't think it has gotten to that stage where, joking or not joking, you should say those kind of things. I don't know what kind of hatred or pain. I don't want to use the word hatred. I don't know what kind of pain you have in your heart or the kind of experience you've gone through that you will take it out on people that have nothing to do with that pain. I mentioned something to before, and this is my own way of looking at tribalism in the country. Like, if I picked up an apple and I bit on that apple and the apple tasted bad, I would not from then on castigate and say all apples in the creation of this world are evil because I had one bad apple. Even if I had 2 bad apples, 3 bad apples. God with us. Thank you so much for joining in. He says the munene is ripe. Nah, but if you have one bad apple, one bad fruit, it doesn't mean every fruit or every apple in the world is disgusting. If that was the case, then half of us wouldn't eat anything ever again because we've eaten things that are not as sweet or not as good. But that doesn't mean I look at people in the same way. Because I have met 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people that might not be the best, the sweetest to interact with, doesn't mean everybody else is like that. And that is the mistake we make. We treat our fruits and vegetables better than we treat ourselves. If you think about it in that context, like, I haven't heard anyone say, man, I had one bad apple. You say all apples are evil. Any apple in the world is just useless. But we treat human beings that way. Apples don't have brains, but yet we hold them to a higher regard. But people, you would say, oh, you know, I had this experience with this Muslim. I had this experience with this Yoruba man. I had this experience, and that means, oh, all of them are like this. So here's the thing when I heard that statement, and it took me to a quote that I had heard, and it makes me understand these kind of things a bit more. She made that statement, and it only just showed the kind of person that she is. I didn't get triggered to think, oh my God, how would she say this? Oh no, all I just thought was, wow, this person must have gone through a lot of pain. 2, it clearly shows who she is and the kind of person that she is for you to behave in this way. Now, the question is really, what should be done about this? Should there be people coming out in opposition to what she said? Should there be B, the law stepping in? Because we have to start drawing that line between what is free speech and what is not. I remember there's this guy, Elon Musk, aka Elon Musk. Very interesting. And I just hope, let me just, okay, because I saw a video where he spoke about one of his kids dying. He was very emotional about it. And he said someone lied to him and made him sign papers and made him believe that I think his son was doing a gender reorientation of some kind, and he said he's going to fight and, you know, kill the woke virus. He was really emotional about it. And I understand where he's coming from. But Elon Musk also has been on Twitter speaking about and making jest about what happened in the UK, saying, wow, the UK is becoming, you know, a police state. People are getting arrested for saying things on Facebook. That might seem weird, but let's look at those two situations. And this is all about free speech and whether this lady had the right to actually say what she felt like, because, hey, it's free speech. She can talk. She hasn't gone on to do anything. She's just speaking. She could have been angry. She could have been taken out of context, right? So the riots that happened 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago in London spiraled because there was a stabbing. A young man stabbed little girls. Now, on social media, someone or some groups of people decided this man's religion and went out to say this man is from this religion and this is what they do. They Appleized everybody. Say, oh yes, this, all of them. And people went out on the streets and started attacking mosques. Now, these people that Elon Musk is talking about that were arrested were the people who put that message, and that message caused this reaction. So that's why they are being looked at. Now, think about his situation. He said someone lied to him. Now, basically, it was a mix of terms. He called it sterilization. The person that made him sign the paper said it was a gender orientation, something like that. So, can he admit that what was done to him and what caused his son to die was free speech? Can he say that as well? Because they put forward what they believed was real. It wasn't. In the case of these protests, people put forward what they believed was real. It wasn't. It caused people to die. It caused businesses to be shut down. It caused people to be attacked. It caused the son to die. So where are we going to draw that line on what is free speech and what is not? I saw a story about a man, I don't know if it was in Lagos, I think it was something on social media, but I question that story. I honestly do. Because he says, oh, he wanted to poison people because he was inspired by that lady. I don't know. I just feel like it's a conspiracy thing, because for anything to happen to that lady, I feel like there would need to be an effect, which was that guy saying that. So it just seemed like, maybe they're just trying to get this woman. But truly, if people go out and start poisoning other people, would you still think it's free speech? Would you still think, hey, you know, she's done nothing. She's only just expressing herself. It's a really scary story, though, because I'm like, wow. So this is what people have in their hearts. And that's kind of scary, because I'm going to now at the back of my mind, and I'm being honest, I know I don't judge and all, but I'm a human being. At the back of my mind, when I go somewhere and I see a fellow Niger, I'm going to think, wait, is this person going to try and poison me? Do you feel that bad about this, that you would go that far? You know, what kind of upbringing did you have? What kind of life did you have? What experiences did you have to make you feel that way? I don't know, man. I don't actually know. It's a weird story. Very strange, but I'd like to see what's going on because Nigeria seems to be taking it very serious, you know? And I will go back and check what the law says in Canada with regards to these kind of statements. I know here in the UK, there's a major clampdown on oh, he didn't die. So he just said that he saw, imagine. Because he read the statement, man. He was like, oh, you know, he's going to kill that woke virus. He's going to make sure all his resources. I'm like, okay, I get that. But like I said, I'm going to look into the law to see what it is. But I mean, would you call what this woman said, would you say it's free speech? Or is it free speech simply because it doesn't affect you directly? I mean, I remember, Rosemary, you talked about some guy who said, oh, all people from this tribe should leave Lagos. Would you consider that free speech? And when do we draw that line to say, okay, you know what, this is crossing the line? I know, if you go online, there are international conventions that explain these things, but I feel like it's a conversation we need to have because I've been seeing on Twitter this whole thing of poking at countries, saying, oh, you know, this country, they're doing this here. Oh, you know, they're doing that there. And I'm like, I get what he's trying to do, using a platform to try and instigate change. But just like most of the Bond villains or villains in movies or villains in general, they all seem to think they're doing the right thing. That's why when you look at the judicial system, you know, there has to be an argument for and against. There has to be a prosecutor. There has to be a defendant. There has to be a judge. There has to be a jury. Because we can't be on our own, say this is what I believe. And what if he's wrong? How does he know what he's doing is right or wrong? So he's like poking fun in this country, putting money here, doing that. You know, it's just, I guess it's a billionaire thing. Once someone makes a lot of money, apparently they don't know everything about everything. And because he's made money, you know, we should all listen. I don't believe that. I really don't. Right. So moving away from things of a genocidal nature, I saw, oh my God, I listened to, and this is the part I said, look, wait, what's the time? I'm supposed to be rounding up. Yeah. Okay, good. See, I'm keeping to time today. So I listened to this lady, and it's part and parcel of one of the things we spoke about yesterday, like on Becoming Unknown's stream. I asked him about, you know, the universe, the world, and if he thought we were alone, and what he thinks about, you know, UFOs and all that. And I'd like to hear what you think. It's a topic that I'm very interested in. I'm really, really interested in. I've been obsessed with this topic for many, many years. And I just want to know what you think. I'm keeping to time. I am keeping to time. I'd like to know what you think. You know, do you think, I personally believe on a mathematical level, it is not possible that we are alone. I just don't think it's possible. If you pack or take every grain of sand on planet Earth and multiply it by 1 billion, I don't think you will get the number of stars and solar systems that fill this reality. So how is it possible that we are, and just like he said yesterday, we are not a very smart race of people. You have to understand. We are not the brightest bulbs in the galaxy. There is no way we are up there. As far as I'm concerned, we are, you know how you look at an aquarium and you see fish and then you see snails? I think we're at the level of snails. I'm not even kidding. I don't think we're very intelligent as a species. I think we're like sheep. I think we're easily, like, you know, moved around and messed with and prodded with, and you know, we all are looking for direction, and we all have this thing where we must follow each other. You know, if one person doesn't like something, 10,000 people have to not like it as well. I don't think we're the brightest bulbs in the galaxy. So I feel like if we are alone, then it says a lot about this reality. I mean, this is one thing that's always come to my mind. It's like, we here on planet Earth are the only creatures on this planet that pay rent. We live here. There is no other species on this planet that pays rent to live. but we have created a system where we have to pay to survive when our resources are endless. There's enough for everyone. I mean, think about the billions of insects, the millions and trillions of animals on this planet. They don't work in factories. They don't wear suits. They don't go to ATM machines, but they survive. So, which means that there are provisions for everyone to have I mean, not like everyone has to have a mansion, but we can survive as a species. But we've created this thing that I don't understand. And you might think I'm crazy, but I just every day feel like it. I've always felt like this from childhood. It doesn't add up. So yeah, Lord Ozu says, I'm 100% certain we're not alone. I have to say, I believe that as well. And it was in that quest, I read a book a very long time ago. I forget his name. I keep seeing his face. A funny guy. Eric von Daniken. I think that's his name. He wrote a book called Chariots of Fire. Oh no, not Chariots of Fire. Chariots in the Sky. You know what? Let me look for that. I think it's Chariots in the Sky or something like that. Chariots of Fire. Eric von Daniken. I read that book. Oh yeah, Eric von. Oh wow, I'm not bad though. I still have it. Swedish. Chariots of the Gods. Sorry, not Chariots of Fire. Yeah, kind of messed that up. It's called Chariots of the Gods. I read that book. I think about 15, 20 years ago. Because of this interest in the world, and he had a very, very different take on aliens, because up until then, when you speak about aliens or extraterrestrials, or because of mainstream media and movies, it's like all that. It was always something from outside. But his book Chariots of the Gods made you start to think not just about the future or aliens from the outside, but to start to look within and look at our own history and look at evidence to show that maybe these guys have been here for a very long time. I was talking on Becoming Unknown, his stream. We're joking about it. We're like, think about it. There's Africa, there's Mesoamerica, talking about South America, there's Southeast Asia, there's the Americas, there's China. Some even say Antarctica. But in all these different civilizations that have been isolated from one another around the periods where they did this, they all woke up one day and they were like,
why don't we just build pyramids? Let's take 100 years, hundreds of thousands of slaves, and let's just build pyramids.
How do you put that together? The same, and like I was saying yesterday, that it's interesting that in South America and in Southeast Asia, it almost seems like it was the exact same architect. Their pyramids almost look identical. And the beings who they say came to teach them about these pyramids are almost identical. Quetzalcoatl, and there's another name as well. The serpent gods. They both depict serpent gods. And if you think about it, based on what Eric von Daniken was saying, imagine you now as a person, with your cell phone, with your plug-in, with your earbuds. Imagine if you were taken back in time to biblical times. If someone saw you, what do you think they would call you? In your outfit, as you are dressed, with your earbuds, with your cell phone, you get a call. How do you think you'll be received? Or you landed in a plane, a helicopter, and you landed there in biblical times, or not even just in old times, like old ancient Africa or America. How do you think those people have reacted? What do you think they'll have called you? That's what this guy's book was talking about. That if you start to look at different cultures across the planet, hundreds and thousands of different cultures, they have similarities in that they keep talking about people from the sky. Sky gods, sky people. If you think about the Hopi Indians, if you think about the Inuit Indians, if you think about the different American nations, I keep forgetting their names, the different Native American tribes. If you think about Africa, the Dogon. If you think about the Sangomas in South Africa. If you think about home in Nigeria, the Orishas, they all talk about sky beings, sky gods, sky people. If you look at India as well, their ancient texts, Sanskrit, is it Mahabharata, talk about gods and their flying objects. The Inca, it's all the same. People came from the sky. They came to tell us this and that. You start to think. And then this guy actually now brought up the Bible in itself to say, wait a second. Was it the book? Is it Ezekiel or Enoch? I can't remember the book, but he talked about how this particular book in the Bible was actually an abduction story. Let me just see if I could put up a picture of the guy in the book. He said it was like an abduction story, that if you read it again and not take it literally, because like I said, if someone from this day and age went back in time to that period, you might not understand what they were saying, and the way you be described will be different. If I landed in a plane, I'll be a sky god. Even in Shakespearean times, you know, someone would say, be like the wind, go forth and return like the hurricane, you know, all that. But basically saying, go there and get me my drink, bitch. That's basically what they're saying, but it's a different way of speaking. So like back then in biblical times, things were explained and understood different. If they'd seen a cell phone, it'll have been called an ark or something, you know? So maybe we're the aliens in the future. Aha, now you're talking. Now you're talking. Because that's another way to look at it. Because even in Japan, they have these little sculptures. And the sculptures, if you compare them to these spacesuits that we have now, they're really, really similar. Really, really similar. Yeah. He said leave Bible. I know, that's why I said people will get angry today, because that's what he said. He tried to explain it that because it was called a chariot of fire. And he said back in that time, how would they have explained an aircraft? They would not have called it an aircraft. They will not, the same way right now we're looking at UFOs or we're saying they're UFOs or they're UAVs. It's the same way, because we don't know the name whoever's in those things actually call it. We don't know what they refer to or the technology that they have. So it's the same way back then, if they saw an airplane or a ship with thrusters or a rocket ship, it would be called a chariot of fire, because chariots is what they used in those days for transportation. And the only way to explain thrusters is fire. So it will have been a chariot of fire, you know, go up into the sky, see the earth, show you this, show you that. You know, it was just crazy. When I read that, I was like, wow. And then he went from there to speak about different places in the world. You know, how it seems like there is or has been an influence for a very long time of people outside this planet. There's a guy named Ben Carson who speaks about the Anunnaki. There's another religion. Basically, they said, and I can't remember the name of the founder, but he spoke about meeting a being who says he's from the Pleiades constellation and gave him a book, or showed him direction on how to find a book. Is it the Mormons? I think it's the religion of the Mormons. I think that's like the story. Still, that is like a modern day version. Is that that's a fly? Oh God, the invasion of the flies. See, it's because I'm talking about this. They're trying to get me. They're trying to get me, man. So yeah, that's like the most recent religion that's based on the same story of a being coming from a different planet, a different star system. And it's always that Pleiades constellation. If you think about the pyramids, their alignment, it's the Pleiades. If you think about Osiris, Pleiades, the Anunnaki, Pleiades. It's always that constellation when it comes to human beings. So what I'm about to play now might trigger some people. I just want you to listen to it just so we can have a friendly conversation about it. Okay, it's not to say this is wrong, this is right, this happened, this didn't happen. Because based on the kind of things I've researched, I've looked at, for example, in America, that's the Native American people. They, and even like the ones that were in Canada higher up, and in Central America and Southern America, they all had people who they said came from the stars, and they said they were either snake people or ant people. In fact, there's a particular place in America where there are caves underground. The Indians lived there, and they said that their ancestors were put in those caves by the ant people because there was a battle between the ant and the snake people. Kind of makes you think about the reptilians and the old greys. If you think about all the pictures you've seen of entities and things like that, exactly, doing things, exactly. If you think about the Mahabharata, the Indian book, they also talk about this great battle that happened between the gods in the sky, and they had like magnificent weapons. It's kind of like what happened. So these group of Indians had to live underground in these caves, and these caves are well cut. They're like, it's not possible that they actually built them themselves. And they said they were supposed to live there because of this great battle happening on Earth at the time. There's just too many things that are weird with our history. So Von Daniken is basically saying that we shouldn't even be looking forward or into space. We should be looking at Earth because all the answers are right here. So why I said I wanted to share this, because this lady is talking about the Bible in a very interesting way. Let me see if I can zoom in here so we can see this in HD. It's talking about the Bible in a very interesting way. Now, basically, for me, I'd always believed that when the story of the Garden of Eden, if you think about it, like I said, in Victorian times, half of us wouldn't even understand what the heck they're saying. All of those who said that's a sign, check the fly. Has a camera attached. I swear to God. It's possible. I will not put that past anything, because yeah. Anyways, the Garden of Eden, I never saw it as the story that it was, as it like everything was physical. I'd always said, even as far back as like early secondary school, that I believed it was being spoken about in, a different kind of way. Like when you say the fruit represents something. When you say the trees represent something. When you say the serpent, I never thought the serpent was an actual snake. Even though that Goodwill Bible, the yellow and gold, was it gold and red one? Always depicted a snake. I never thought it was a snake. I thought it was just a representation of a being. I actually thought it meant the person was cunning and sly. Not that. But if you think about the reptilian race and the ant people, if you think about how we look at sky gods and what we call angels, or if they're gods or if they're angels, you start to question things. But let us listen to what this lady says. I'm going to just actually, after this, call one or two people and hear what you have to say about this, because I watched it and I was like, say what now? I'm like, not only is this person going to get like 10 to 15 million views, she's going to have to explain herself a little bit more. I saw another video that she did, but I didn't want to go to that one, because that one I was just like, I was rolling. Oh wait, can I put this thing in a much better location so that we can view it properly? Let's see if I can move this capture over here. Yes, she can be right in my face. Hey. Right. 150. Yeah, that should be all right. Let's go there. Right. Now, this is where I hope the technology does not fail me. Turn up the volume here. Why do I... Oh. Like I am music. Sorry, excuse me. Turn that down a little bit. Right. Let us listen to what this young lady has to say. In fact, let me not even introduce or like... tell you what's about to happen. I want you to feel it the way I felt it. Let's go.
Agree that the original sin had nothing to do with a piece of fruit, right? Unless it's your belief that the fall of mankind is a direct result of Eve eating an apple. Don't you think that it would make more sense that the story is a metaphor and the fruit is symbolic of, I don't know, sex? What if Eve had sex with the serpent, not knowing the full consequences of her actions, gave sex to Adam? What if her first child, Cain, is actually not Adam's son at all? We know that Adam and Eve are in the Garden of Eden. We know that they are told not to eat of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, but can have their way with all of the other trees. We also know that trees are created on day 3, but Adam and Eve aren't created until day 6. When both trees and Adam and Eve are created, we are specifically told that the tree will bear fruit and that the seed is in and of itself, meaning the tree and Adam and Eve are created with the inherent ability to reproduce. If I need to be even clearer, trees are a metaphor for people, and the seed is a metaphor for sex and the subsequent offspring. So what if the fallen angels brought sex with them? What if before the creation of Adam and Eve, people possessed the ability to be fruitful and multiply by simply willing it to be so, because the seed was already in them? For example, the oldest non-clonal single-stem tree in the world is the Great Basin bristlecone found in California. You heard that right. California, USA. Not Africa, not the Middle East. But anyways, this tree contains both male and female reproductive organs. It should be noted that this tree is unsurprisingly named Methuselah. Methuselah is Enoch's son and Noah's grandfather. But anyways, the seed of Abel and the seed of Cain are representative of two important and very distinct lineages or trees. Let me show you. First Enoch chapter 22 verse 9 reads like this. And now the cry of the righteous has reached the heavens, and their lamentations have reached the end of the earth. And the great power of the righteous has not yet come to pass. And now the angels are holding their tears, and they cry out, for the ruin of the seed of Cain is upon us. Why would the angels be holding back tears and crying out that the destruction of the seed of Cain is upon us, unless their seed is the seed of Cain? Hear me out. We know that angel is a misnomer for alien. We know that the specific species of angels or aliens mentioned in the biblical text are men and only men. We know that the angels are divided into two distinct groups. We have the first group of angels, which is referred to as the 1/3, and we have the second group of angels referred to as the remaining 2/3. 1/3 plus 2/3 equals 1, meaning all angels are accounted for in the metaphor. The first group of angels, called the Watchers, come down to earth to mate with human women and lose their access to heaven in Genesis chapter 1. The second group of angels is kicked out of heaven at the Battle of Armageddon, which is substantiated by the fact that Satan still has access to heaven all the way through the book of Revelation and is even read going up and down heaven in the book of Job. Just to be clear, they're all bad guys. However, we've been deceived into believing that one is good and one is evil. This is often depicted in pop culture like this. In this picture, we see that an angel is on one shoulder and a demon is on the other. Although both are on different sides, the angel and the demon are left out of the mind, meaning neither has access to the divine mind, aka the Holy Spirit, aka the kingdom of heaven that resides in me and you. Putting all of that together, then we get that Adam and Eve are not the first people. The first people did not reproduce by way of sex. They were fruitful and multiplied by way of willing it to be so through chaos or oneness. Then angels, aka interdimensional beings, aka aliens, came to earth to have sex with women, which was a previously unknown process to them. This act of aliens having sex with earth women disrupted chaos, which was previously only good. This disruption of chaos or oneness created duality, therefore awakening the knowledge of good and evil.
Wow. when I listened to that, I was like, okay, somebody has done a lot of reading, but it's just interesting how she's able to piece these things together. I would say personally, the only thing that I can say, yeah, kind of resonates is just the fact that the description of these things, like the not that the serpent is an alien, but the fact that it wasn't an actual snake. Because I feel like a lot of people have that thing in their mind where it's like, it's a snake. And, you know, it's that. But I just thought this person is really good at bringing information together and piecing it. I mean, it's an interesting story she's told. She went further. There's another video I've seen, but that one is just, that one, if I play it now, people would wring my neck and I'll probably be reported. But basically in the video, she's kind of saying, or she's of the opinion that the devil is the God and the only real God we have is in us. And anything outside us cannot be called God or something weird like that. That basically there's, you know how there's this statement where they say that the devil's biggest power is making us feel like he doesn't exist. In her opinion, it's not that. It's that we've been misguided to think that that Jesus is the devil or something weird like that. I was like, whoa. It's just weird though. It's weird because when you look at the things that are going on in the world today with all these allegations here and there, oh, this one is a Satanist, that one's a Satanist, music and entertainment, and with the way the world is going, it makes you think. But Rosemary says that she should go read the Bible and pray to the author, God, to give her the revelation of what it means. It's blasphemy. The end. It was wild. I just heard this and I was like, wait. For me, I just look at it as this is someone who has taken like different parts and pieces and has just been able to put like a story together. Whether she believes what she believes, it doesn't affect me. It doesn't change my mind. But it's just interesting to hear that kind of opinion. And really, it's kind of a thing where I also want us to start to understand that everybody's entitled to their opinion. And someone having their opinion doesn't really change or shouldn't change what you are, what you believe, and, you know, what you've grown up with. It can make you think, it can make you, but it shouldn't make you like resent or hate or, you know, because that kind of story, imagine people have been told stories with regards religion, with regards ethnicities, and have pieced things together the same way that she has and have made it sound also, you know, intelligent and believable. This is the world that we have to contend with now. These are the things that are going to be pushed in our faces on a daily. This is what we've been going through, and this is what people react to. But I just feel like we now have to have the strength of mind to be able to see and understand that people can be allowed to be people, and it doesn't take away anything from us. Yeah, Lord of Zeus, that's what I'm saying. She did lots of research. And do you know how many people she's going to actually convince? Do you know how many people? I didn't want to start reading the comments because I saw 41,000 people liked what she has said, and 3.7 million people have viewed that. It is possible. She's done a lot of research. She has things to back it up. But I mean, I've sat in places where people have come up with these kind of things and woven like interesting stories together to back up certain beliefs. It's an interesting take. And that's why I was saying, you know, you can look at it in terms of other things. You know, that's why when I heard it, the first thing I thought about was, hey, wait a second. This thing she's talking about two different people kind of ties in with what Von Daniken has said, or what I've read, even with the ancient cultures and how they depict two different sky gods fighting. And it just kind of tied in with that too, with India as well and their books and how they're different gods fighting. If you think about, is it Greece, the Titans and the, what are they called again? I know there were Titans and there another group of people, another set of gods. and they were fighting as well. They all kind of have this thing in common. You know, there's just something about it that just rings that bell. But I just feel like the world that we're living in right now, it's something that we spoke about as well in the stream yesterday. There's a group, and I absolutely love this group. They're called Alien Ant Farm. They have some amazing songs. If you know Smooth Criminal, they did the cover. They have another song called Attitude. They have a really brilliant album. I remember that they did like a final performance and said, hey, they're not doing this anymore. They're gone. Aha, research doesn't make it true, but it makes us sound, yeah, it just makes us sound like, you know, because she's quoting, oh, this part of the Bible says this. So if you look here, it says that. If you look here, I'm just saying that these kind of things have a way of touching and convincing people. Anyways, Alien Ant Farm. They're a really good group. And one of the things that made me like them, apart from their distinct style and their kind of music, was even their name. I watched an interview where they were asked about how did you come up with that name, and they said, look, basically they look at the planet and the earth like we were put here as some kind of experiment and we're being watched to see how we develop. Basically, we're an ant farm. You know how we have those glass, it's like sand and there's glass, and then, you know, you can see the ants moving up and down, how they, you know, feed the queen, develop and do all that. They basically said that's what they believe this earth is. It is an alien ant farm. And I thought that was just very profound. Anyways, they're coming up, according to my friend, fellow streamer of the Unknown Nation. He says that they're actually coming out with another album. But it just got me thinking, you know, alien ant farm, this planet, where we are as human beings, what we call life at the moment. You know, not to sound like a complete nutcase, but there's no way it makes sense to me. No way it makes sense. It just feels, and it seems like every year as I get older, it just gets more twisted and more convoluted, and all the explanations, just like her explanation, other people's explanation as to why. Because have you thought about it? Why do we pay rent on a planet that we live on? We weren't born anywhere else. Why do we have this system of waste where we have manufacturers that overproduce something, a few people buy it, and the rest gets thrown away and it's spoiled? I'll give you an example. Do you realize how much food is thrown away every single year? Like, no jokes. Like every year around the world. Let me try find the statistic.
We all agree that the original...
lady, leave us alone. I heard you. Yeah, let me turn that down. I'm trying to look for something else, dear lady. Wait, how do I exit this thing without exiting my something? Right, I have gone to press spoil. Help. Oh my god, what have I done? F11? Oh yeah, there we are. Saved. Yeah, the amount of waste. It was during COVID that I saw, you know, some things happening, and it just didn't make sense. Even here in the UK, there's like the shops, you know, the high street shops, not the high street shops, the food stores, the Tesco's, a lot of the food that is there gets wasted. It gets thrown away. Meanwhile, just right outside, the people hungry. So people have started doing something where, and it's a great thing, where they get these foods and rather than throw them away, they donate them to certain people, and these people go around distributing them. Because I mean, why does it spoil? We have nations that treat, you know, the giant African snails. Yeah, they treat them as a pest and they destroy them. Meanwhile, there are people hungry in other parts of the world. During COVID, because farmers weren't able to sell, they were killing their produce and burying them. I'm like, so it just doesn't add up. So I just want to know, am I the only one that thinks this way? That thinks, you know, I'm not. And that's the thing. The less you get caught up in this general news story every day, this is happening, oh, Trump is Kamala, is this genocidal lady, is this, is that. The more you start to step back and step away from these things, the more you start to see like a bigger picture. and start to think, what exactly is going on here? You know what? It's not even a what is our purpose type thing. It's how did we get to this point, and who or what orchestrated us in this direction? I mean, let's think about work, like the history of having to pay rent, land, because back in the day it was the lords, that you were a lord when you owned land. That was your title. And that gave you certain privileges. It's just in near history that we actually started, because then it was the lords that were voting on behalf of people. That was the system then. The system has now changed. Who's responsible for this system changing? And this system we have now, do we actually have any hope? When I mean hope, like, is there any way people can together come and make a different way to say, look, you know what? How about we start a different culture? To say, look, we are a group of people. Maybe we put some money together, buy some island. This could be like some big giant experiment. Buy some island, and then we go and live a sort of sustainable life. I know this seems like some kind of weird cult thing. What's the name of that guy who went to South America and then tried to kill everyone, kill the senator as well? But no, not that. It's a Freedom Town. I've forgotten his name. Guy was always wearing glasses. Is it possible that that could be some kind of experiment? Because I know in certain European countries, they're trying that as well. They're doing this thing where they were just going to give people money, certain amount of money, just to see if it was going to help with either crime or something. I can't remember the experiment. But, is that something we need to do as a species? I know Elon is trying to take us to Mars, or well, him and his people. But like, funny thing is, I don't even think we need to go that far. I'm checking the time, don't worry. I don't think we need to go that far. I saw a documentary, and this documentary, oh yeah, it was conditional cash transfer. No, what? That's Nigeria now, conditional cash transfer. I know it was done in a European country. I don't know if it was Sweden or so, that it was an experiment about just giving people money as opposed to giving resources. And it had a really weird outcome. I'll read up on it. I can't remember. But I was saying that, you see, this experiment I'm talking about, it's funny. But now that I think about it, I saw a documentary that sort of explained and sort of showed possibilities. Now, there are a group of people in South Africa, the Bushmen of South Africa, have been a tribe there since eons. Yeah, if you remember The Gods Must Be Crazy, the movie. Yeah, those guys are the Bushmen of South Africa. Now, they have lived in the Kalahari Desert for eons. They survive because of their knowledge and their methods of finding water. One of which, I think it was Dave Chappelle. It was really funny. It's a trick where they put a fruit in a hole, and they know the baboons will go and look for that fruit. So they stick their hands in there and they grab the fruit, and the baboon is stuck. He's not actually stuck. If he lets go of the fruit, he'll run away. But because he doesn't want to let go, he's stuck there. So the Bushman captures him and feeds him with salt. The baboons apparently like salt. And what he does is, when he's given him all the salt, baboon is happy, but the next thing is he's thirsty. And he lets him go and he runs off. The first thing the baboon does is run straight to a place where he knows he'll find water. The Bushman follows him, and that's how he finds his water. They also use different tricks of the knowledge of different roots, different trees, and they live a life off nature. They don't have any other system but gathering and surviving. Now, the government in that area, I don't know why, they decided to build houses, dig a borehole, put like roofs over their head, and ask them to stay in a particular area. I think it has something to do with the land. And they did all that. There's a ribbon cutting ceremony. Yay! Everyone's happy. For the people. Yeah. And 2 weeks later, or 3 weeks, they went back to that settlement, and it was a ghost town. They had all left. Empty. No one was living there. So they went back into the forest, back into the desert, the bush, to find these guys. And they said, hey, You have water. We've given you houses. We've, put you in a place where you can do work, you can gain money, and you can start earning where you can buy these things. And the guy said, no, this is not how they live. They don't want to live that kind of life. That their forefathers and their fathers behind them have been gatherers. They've known this. And he asked the guy, he says, why would you want us to work for the things that we already have in nature? We have our houses, we can find water, and we have food, enough for us and our children and our children's children to survive. So why do we need this? That thing hit me, man, and it hit me heavy. And since then, I've just always looked at things different. Like, why exactly do we need this? Why have we put ourselves in a system that forces us to live the kind of life that we're living? To make sure that a small percentage of people are enjoying it and a large percentage of people have nothing. And the people in the middle are trying to convince the people at the bottom that they're like the people at the top. Why do we have this kind of system? And what can we do to actually change it? It's one of the things that's actually like a driving factor in my life. It's why I started putting together that online radio idea, because I want to start to build a culture where we start to step back from the world as we know it and start to look at things completely different. What is the important thing in this life? Is it about the cars? Is it about the money? Is it about building a big house? All these things we're not taking with us. All these things aren't a real legacy, because in 50 years they will cease to exist. Our name will vanish. What is more important? What's important to you? Tell me. Like, what is that driving factor? What is that one thing that you want? What are you hoping for? What are you, when you wake up in the morning, do you have an idea and a vision of something? What is that thing? Is it a house? Is it a car? Is it the next job? Is it the next thing? For me, my entire dream, and this might sound weird, and it might be for a couple of people, and this is the weird thing. Everyone else that I've heard say this is someone who's actually been in entertainment or someone who's had a lot of money. I don't have that money, sadly. Not sadly. I don't have the money, but I feel that way. I've heard, what's the name of one of the Kardashian sisters? I don't know. I know there's Khloe, Kim, Courtney. That's all I know. One of them, the one who they were messing around with her lips that has like a makeup thing. She said her dream is actually to go get a farm where she can live with her family quietly. And that has been my own thing for a long time. So it seems like people who have gotten to that place where a lot of people aspire to get to have turned around, and I want the opposite, because they've experienced that thing and they've said, look, this is not it. So if you are watching today, think about that. What is important? What about this system that you're in? Are you caught up in this thing? Like the guys who came and built this system for the Bushmen, wanted them to work, wanted them to do this. Are you caught up in that system? And even if you're caught up in it, are you doing it for the right reasons? Are you making money because you want money, or is it a means to an end? Is there a goal or a place you want to get to? Is there a certain amount of money you will make and be like, you know what, I'm fine? Do you even want to care about the money, or just look to what you can do as a service? Because that's another way to look at life. I don't know if it was Muhammad Ali that's saying, like being kind, being nice, being good, helping people is your payment for getting this life that we have. Think about it. I want to start like a culture. I want to start a community of people who are living life because they appreciate life and appreciate each other. And the more I think about it, this is weird, the more I'm starting to meet like-minded people. So I'm hoping that this is something you think about as well in your everyday life. I want a different kind of life. I want to meet people who share my values. It's not even about spirituality and all, but it's about, understanding that we're all in this together and we all need each other. I found that in Twitch. I have met a group of people who are just open and willing to help. Who there was someone who was in here earlier, the tattered guy. He's a wonderful human being. The minute I go into his stream, he's like, hey, are you a streamer? If you are, look, I'll send you this, I'll send you that. This is where I got this is where I got that. Helpful, because that's the kind of community we have. I was playing with Sid yesterday at Dr. Sid. And we met a couple of people as well, and we're talking about the community, like, so that many guys in Nigeria actually doing this. We need to come together. We need to help each other. We need to support each other. I feel like that's where we need to be going in the world and start stepping away from a lot of things that just bring confusion and bring clutter. Michael, Jaguar, Tommy, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it as well. And thank you for saying something. If you say something, if you don't, if you lurk, I appreciate. Says Genesis 6:4, the Nephilim were on earth in those days and also afterwards, when the sons of God came to the daughters of men and they bore children to them. Those were the mighty men who were of old, men of renown. Further proof that Adam and Eve may not have been alone. I think the apple was in appropriate sex with one of the fallen angels. Hey, it's a possibility. It actually is a possibility. It's, not going to what she said and saying it's exact, but something was not meant to happen and it happened. I don't look at the apple as a fruit, bite the fruit. Nah, I think the apple was an action, a thing, But it's an interesting, hey, just as I talk about Deciduous, he arrives. How you doing, man? What's going on? Tell me, are you streaming today? Are we going to be playing? Are you entering some Black Ops or some Wukong clan? What's going on? Tell me about it. So yeah, anyways, like I said, today I'm keeping to Jesus, Mary Joseph. I'm keeping to time. I'm not going to make this really long. Let us end this here. Oh, you're outside. Groovement. Wait, is it the performance? I know you're supposed to go. You're performing. Oh, okay. Wukong tomorrow. Not bad. Should we? No, but we can't both do that at the same time. I'll just watch you do it. Let me learn through you as they are beating the evil pan out of you. I will take notes so that when I'm streaming it, I look like a bad guy. Oh yeah, the performance, mad. Is there any visuals, anything we can watch? No, you can just turn on your camera. Let's be seeing what's going on. But yeah. Thanks for joining in, and I really appreciate the support. And that's what I was just talking about. This community of people who want everyone else with them to work together for our benefit. So if you are watching and you are Nigerian, think about that. Forget about the genocidal people. Forget about the people who are in power. Forget about all that. Let's start to look at each other and start to say, you know what, we have a common goal. There's something we need and we want. Let's start relying and helping and being with everyone. And trust me, things will look better. Not just saying this as this is some kind of weird spiritual thing, but it actually works like that. This that I'm doing right now is an example of how it works. Not only have I gotten this beautiful camera, this equipment from just getting into it, I've also met amazing people, and every day I'm meeting more and more people who are just showing me that, man, this world is actually a beautiful place depending on where you're looking at the time. Because you can see a beautiful painting and you can look at different people can see different things. You choose what you want. You focus on that and you move forward. So yes, before I stay here for another 4 hours, I want to thank everyone who has dropped in. If you have commented, if you have not, just being here, I really do appreciate. Of course, we have to drop hand to Lord El Zeus, really appreciate. And Rosemary, who is always here, thank you for the support. Really appreciate. Really appreciate, honestly, from the deepest part of my gizzard. We have Olatunji Olafashaki. Thank you so much for being here as well. Truly appreciate. Tatted Up 09. Thank you. That's the guy I'm talking about. He's an absolutely brilliant streamer. He does Wukong as well. And he's the one who I met and I was like, oh, you're a streamer? I'm going to show you everything. I'll tell you about this. I'll teach you that. If there's anything you need to know, just come up. I've only started streaming 2 months. So about what I learned, I'll share with you. That's the kind of attitude we all need to have as a people in general. And I hope every day I build this community so we can start, who knows? Maybe we'll make enough and I'll buy that island. I will invite you all to join me. No leader, no nothing. We'll all just be working together, invested in creating things that we can all share. That's the dream. That's the dream. So yeah, thank you. Oh, is that Zacchaeus? I didn't even notice. My bad. Zacchaeus the ninja was in here. I really appreciate. Rauf, thank you so much for joining me as well. Hey, of course, New Godzilla, the Titanios, the Titan Killer. And of course, Dr. Sid, really, really appreciate. Colin too. Michael, thank you. Truly appreciate. Everyone have a wonderful, wonderful week ahead. And please try that social experiment with me. Just every time you see someone say something negative or tribalist on social media, do the opposite, man. Say, no, me, I love, you see these people that you hate? Me, personally, I love them. Hurry on the island, let's go. Man, I'm not even kidding. I'm not kidding. Like, it's one of the things I thought about as a kid. It was like, I would love to have an island. And I used to tell my friends that, like, what do you want? Do you want a house, a car? I said, no, I want an island. I said, so I can pack people that I trust and we can all go there together and live what I believe is actual life, not this matrix that we're in. No, I am not Andrew Tate. I don't have the muscles for it. But yeah, anyways, thank you. Really appreciate. Hope you've had a wonderful time with me. And please, if you are watching and you have not subscribed, just try to do so. Help support the individual so that, this thing can get bigger. And this message of, a different world, a different life is kind of what we're doing with gaming as well. Dr. Sid is here. Sorry, excuse me. And it's what we talked about too. Like, we want to bring this fun and excitement and this community to the gaming world, not just because gaming is fun, but because it's an avenue for our people. It is an avenue for young people. It is a business venture. And I've been repeating this over and over. Think about this fact. The entirety of Hollywood and the entirety of the music industry combined do not make as much revenue as the gaming industry. So in Nigeria, culturally, I think we have this thing where we look down on games and say, oh, it's gaming. It's not Nah, trust me, it is a business opportunity. And that's why I really love what Sid is doing, because he has tapped into that, and not for himself, but to open the avenue for other people, because there is a huge space for us out there. We have the numbers. And the more we start to support streamers like myself, like Dr. Sid, like Godwin, like Eddie Yoon, like Catch Me, 21, like all these wonderful people who are out there now, the more we have our people following, the more business we're bringing to us, and the more we are going to be recognized as a nation, and the more opportunities we will have. Nigerians, we they play. I mean, look at what we're doing in music, in movies. We they play. We have everything locked down. I believe we're a special breed of people, especially because of the environment that we've grown up in. Everywhere I go, as in when I see, even in school, Nigerians were always on top. It's either Nigerians or Chinese. We're always there on top because we don't appreciate where we're coming from. We think it's so horrible, but that horrible place is what has, it's like a sword. You have to knack it and put it in fire for it to come out nice. We've been in fire, we've been knacked. And that's why when we step out to the world, we always do the extra. So let's continue doing extra. Have a wonderful week. Keep being you. Say something lovely to the next person. Make someone else around you happy. And next week we'll continue. And hopefully, I think on Friday, I'm going to be playing some Wukong. And on Saturday, we'll play something else. And Sunday, of course, it'll be time for us to chat. We'll look at more stories, look at more trending issues, and you can share your stories with me during the week. And we'll take a look at them at the end of the week, next week, Sunday, on another edition of Just Chatting. Thank you so much for being here, okay? Truly do appreciate. Have a wonderful week, man. Cheers. Wait. What's going on here? Sorry, I just saw something. Olusegun Akere. Oh, see? Sorry. Olusegun, a shout out to you too. I'm very sorry. I forgot. Okay. I didn't see that on time. It just popped up. Thank you so much for being here too. I truly do appreciate. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. And I'll catch you again very soon. I want to do this effect. I actually like it. Let's try it. That's right.